Okay, we're going to show you how to factorize quadratics easily. First thing we do, we take this number here. In this case there's no coefficient of x squared. So we take the 20 up here and we find the factors. 1 goes into 20 20 times, 2 goes into 20 10 times, 3 goes into 20, well, it doesn't go, 4 goes into 20 5 times, 5 we've already done, so we've finished, we found all the factors. The next thing we do, we look at this symbol here. This symbol here tells us the sign of the larger factor. In this case it's a minus, so you now place a minus in front of all the larger factors in the pairs of factors. So 20 is the larger number than 1, 10 is the larger number than 2, so we place a minus in front of all those factors. Next thing we do, we look at the second symbol here. The second symbol, if it's a minus, it tells us that the other factor is different. If it's a plus, it tells us that the other factor is the same. So let's have a look. In this case it's a minus, which means, seeing as our first factor was minus, the other one's going to be a plus. Okay, now we need to find the pair of factors that add up to minus 8, our middle coefficient. In this case it's plus 2 and minus 10. Which means we can write out our brackets. Like I say, the coefficient of x is actually 1, so we don't see it. So that means it's going to be x and x in the brackets, and we place these two numbers, plus 2 and minus 10, in the brackets, and there's the answer. Let's try another one. X squared plus 5x minus 6. Okay, we take the number 6, find the factors of 6. 1 goes into 6 6 times, 2 goes into 6 3 times, 3 we've already done, so we found all the factors. Alright, let's look at this sign. It's a plus, so we put that in front of the larger number in the pairs of factors. Look at the second sign, it's a minus, so we know that other factor is going to be a different sign, so in this case a minus. Which two add up to plus 5? Well, it's minus 1 and plus 6. And we can place these inside the brackets. I'm going to show you how to factorize quadratics. So let's look at another example here. So again we take the 6 and we find the factors of 6. 1 goes into 6 6 times, 2 goes into 6 3 times, 3 we've already had, so we found all the factors. This time, looking at this sign, there's a minus in front of the larger of the pair of factors, and looking at the plus here means the other factor is going to be the same as the first, so it's minus here, so this is going to be a minus as well, as is the other one. Right, okay, write out our brackets. And which two of these pairs of factors add up to minus 5? Well, it's minus 2 and minus 3. So we've answered the quadratic. Final example is the one they normally teach you in school, but let's do it with the same system. So if both signs here and here are positive, it's normally rather easy, but let's use the same system. So putting the 6 here and writing out the factors again. This time the first symbol is a plus, so we place a plus in front of the larger of the pairs of factors. The second symbol here is also a plus, which means the other factor is going to be the same sign. In this case a plus, which two add up to plus 5, plus 2 and plus 3. Okay, here we're going to deal with factorizing a quadratic where the coefficient of x squared is greater than 1. Now in A Level and GCSE, we'll only find questions where the factor is either where the coefficient is either prime, or in fact it factorizes like this. In other words, we carry down the coefficient of x squared into the first bracket. Like I say, virtually all the questions at GCSE and A Level are exactly of this format at their most complicated. So let's have a look how we do this using our system. We multiply the 3 by the 2. So here we multiply the coefficient of x squared by the number at the end, ignoring the sign. So we've got 6 in this case, 2 times 3. We find the factors of 6. 1 and 6, 2 and 3. 3 we've already found, so we've got all the factors again of 6. Now we look at this symbol here, which tells us that the larger of the pair of factors is going to be a minus. We place this symbol in front of the larger of the pair, so in front of the 6 instead of the 1, in front of the 3 instead of the 2. We then look at this symbol here, which, if it's minus, means the other factor is going to be different. If it had been a plus, the other factor would be the same sign. So let's have a look. Our first factor we gave a minus sign, so the other one's going to be different, so it's going to be a plus. Now we need to find a pair of factors that add up to minus 5. So in this case it's plus 1 and minus 6. However, because we've got the coefficient 3 in front of the x squared, we need to divide one of these factors by 3. Which one's divisible by 3? Well, it's minus 6. So we take the minus 6, we divide it by 3, giving us minus 2, and we place it opposite the 3x. The other factor we place in the spare slot in the other bracket. Let's have another go at that. So this time we've got the coefficient 2 in front of the x squared, so we write out our brackets, 2x in this one and an x in this one. We multiply the coefficient of x squared by the units, so 2 times 3 gives us 6. Find the factors of 6 again. Look at the first symbol here, and we place the plus in front of the larger number because it's that symbol that gives us the sign of the larger of the pair of factors. Looking at the other symbol here tells us that the other factor is different. So we make it a minus. Which pair adds up to plus 5? Well, it's these two. Now, one of these has to be divisible by 2 because we've got this coefficient of 2 in front of the x squared. In this case, it's this plus 6, so we divide that by 2 and place it opposite the 2. So plus 6 divided by 2 is plus 3. And the other factor here is placed in the other slot.